Okay, so when you start thinking about retirement, there's this huge question that just looms, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you, white knuckle it, stick it out until your full retirement age, your FRA, to get
Well,
that bigger Social Security check?
uh,
Or do you just say, you know what? I want the freedom now, except you'll get less money, but start living life while you feel, well, young and able.
yeah. The classic push-pull, isn't it? You're balancing like two massive things, money later versus um, enjoying your time today.
Right.
And what often gets missed, I think, in this sort of calculation is life,
Yeah.
how unpredictable it is. We focus so much on the dollar amount.
Maximizing it.
Exactly.
Right.
Maximize the dollars. But we don't always focus enough on maximizing the health we have left or the time we have left to actually spend those dollars.
That's such a good point. It's not just a spreadsheet problem. It's about timing your life, your actual life, against, biology and things outside your control.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're doing a deep dive. We've got a stack of, honestly, quite surprising sources that show why the average American actually retires much earlier than maybe the government hopes.
Right.
We're looking at health, job stability, quality of life, all these factors that kind of nudge people towards an early exit.
And these stats, they might really open your eyes. They could help you decide if, calling it quits early is maybe the smarter move for you personally.
Okay, so before we get into the really juicy stuff, if you like getting smart fast about these kinds of topics, please do hit like and subscribe.
Yeah, that'd be great. And check out the affiliate links in the description if you're interested.
And definitely drop a comment suggesting what topic we should tackle in our next deep dive.
We love hearing from you.
All right, let's unpack the baseline first. The money bit. We all hear about the full retirement age, the FRA. That's the key number for getting your full Social Security benefit, right?
That's the one. And it's important to know, for anyone born 1960 or later, that age is 67. Simple as that. And the sources we looked at, they are crystal clear on this. If you retire before 67, your monthly payment is permanently reduced. Permanently.
And if you go at 62, which is the earliest you possibly
Yeah,
can,
62. Then that reduction, it can be as much as 30%.
30%.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, think about that over maybe 20, 30 years of retirement.
Oh, it adds up incredibly fast.
We're talking six figures difference in total benefits over a lifetime for a lot of people. So, I mean, logically, wouldn't everyone just wait until 67 or maybe even 70 for those bonus payments?
Well, that's the financial theory, isn't it? That's what the spreadsheet says to do.
Right.
But what's really fascinating is how much that theory disconnects from what actually happens. If you look at the real data, the average retirement age in America, it's 62.
62. So the earliest possible age.
The earliest possible age. I mean, the vast majority of people are choosing, or maybe, being forced, to take that 30% cut. Years before FRA, and actually years before Medicare kicks in at 65 too.
Wow. That gap it's staggering. If the money incentive is so strong to rate, why are people overwhelmingly just pulling the trigger at 62? Is it just bad planning? Or is something else driving it?
Well, that's the critical nuance, isn't it? And our sources definitely back this up. For a really significant chunk of those early retirees, it isn't some luxury choice they made.
Oh.
It's forced on them. Think about the common triggers, right? A sudden health problem pops up, or maybe there's a layoff at work, and older workers often get targeted, unfortunately.
Or needing to care for family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stepping away to care for a partner or a parent who's ill. These things they override the perfect financial plan.
Yeah.
So if you look at the data and see the average exit is 62, kind of tells you something important. It tells you that maybe planning for an unplanned early exit is actually more realistic than just banking on making it to 67 totally fine.
That makes a ton of sense. Your perfect spreadsheet plan doesn't mean much if life throws a curveball. Which kind of brings us perfectly to maybe the most powerful statistic we found. And honestly, it's a bit sobering. It's the health timeline. We usually think about life expectancy, right? Like 78 years old in the U.S., something like that. That's our target.
Yeah, we use that number a lot for planning.
But that number doesn't really tell you about the quality of those years, does it?
No, it doesn't. And we really need to shift the focus. It shouldn't just be about surviving. It should be about, thriving. And the number we should really be looking at is something called healthy life expectancy, or HALE.
HALE. Okay, let's define that clearly for everyone listening. What is HALE?
So HALE is basically the statistical average. It's the age a person is expected to live in what we call good health.
Meaning,
generally free from major disabilities or chronic diseases that really mess with your daily life, your activities.
okay, so your active years.
Your active, robust years, exactly. And the data, Well, the 2021 numbers from the World Health Organization, they're pretty startling. For the U.S., the HALE is just 63.9 years.
Wait, hang on. 63.9.
Yep, 63.9.
So the average person has less than 64 years of genuinely good, sort of unrestricted health.
Statistically speaking, yes.
And if the average retirement age is 62, wow. That means they barely get 2 years, statistically, of that peak health before the odds of some major health issues start climbing fast.
Precisely. And that 63.9, that's a full 4 years before you even hit the full retirement age of 67.
Okay, that puts a whole different spin on things.
It really does. If you connect HALE to the bigger picture, it puts this kind of emotional and physical deadline on your retirement planning. And it's a deadline that, money often can't fix.
Yeah.
When you look at HALE, you start thinking, maybe you're trading those guaranteed extra 4 years of full Social Security checks for potentially losing 4 years of being physically able to do things in retirement.
This completely reframes the whole decision, doesn't it? The usual goal is save, 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 so you can enjoy retirement when you get there.
Right, the pot of gold at the end.
But if your time for optimal health is, statistically anyway, so short, maybe the priority should shift. Maybe it should be retiring while you're still healthy enough to, I don't know, climb that mountain, travel the world, do that physical hobby you love.
Even if it means tightening the budget a bit.
Yeah, even with a slightly smaller check.
It forces you to ask a really vital question, doesn't it? And this is for you, the listener. Are you saving money just to, have money? Or are you saving it to maximize your life experiences? And if you know chronic illness runs in your family, or maybe you already have some nagging health issues, HALE becomes this huge factor. It needs to be right there next to your 401k balance when you're thinking about this. Because health, well, that's the one currency you just can't earn back.
So true. Absolutely. Okay, let's pivot a little. We've talked about internal things like biology and health. What about the external risks? The risks of trying to stick it out in your job until 67.
Right, because lots of people dream of retiring on their own schedule, their own terms.
Yeah, the grand farewell party.
Exactly. But external pressures, especially in the job market, they can make that a real gamble, particularly when you're older.
What's the biggest risk there?
Well, the first major one is just job stability itself, or lack thereof. It's kind of a harsh reality, but the stats show that a little over half, more than 50% of Americans aged 50 and older, they'll face at least one layoff or a major job reduction sometime in their career.
More than half. That's,
Yeah.
wow. So you might plan to work until 67, but the odds are actually against you keeping that job continuously for the next, say, 10 years if you're in your late 50s.
Statistically, yes, it's a significant risk.
And getting laid off at, say, 52 is one thing, but getting laid off at 62? That must feel completely different.
Oh, absolutely. When you're younger, you generally have more time, more options to maybe retrain, find a similar job. But facing a layoff in your early 60s, yeah, it can be demoralizing and potentially financially catastrophic.
Because finding new work is harder then.
That's what the sources suggest, yes. Age discrimination, sadly, is still a thing. Plus, older workers often have higher salary expectations based on experience, which can be a barrier. It makes finding a comparable new job incredibly tough.
So you could end up forced into retirement anyway, but without the planning.
Exactly. An unplanned, involuntary retirement. It just pulls the rug out from under you, which is why, for some people, choosing an early exit, even with a pay cut, feels better. It gives them back a sense of control. It prevents that nasty surprise.
Right. You control the timing, not your employer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so beyond the threat of actually losing your job, there's another cost, isn't there? The internal cost of just staying, especially if it's a high-pressure job. Let's talk about work stress.
Yeah, stress is huge. And it's not just, feeling frazzled. It has real physical, measurable impacts on your future health and well-being.
What do the numbers say there?
They're pretty massive. Nearly half of employees, 46%, said most of their stress comes directly from their work.
Almost half. Wow.
And get this, 77% said that work stress negatively impacted their mental health. 3/4 of people.
That's enormous. And for older workers, that stress isn't just unpleasant, right? It can actually have direct financial costs that kind of cancel out the benefit of working longer to save more.
That's exactly right. Our sources point out that long-term serious work stress is actually proven to speed up the biological aging process.
Seriously.
Seriously. It increases your risk for chronic stuff, heart disease, diabetes. It weakens your immune system. And what does all that lead to?
More doctor visits, more costs.
You got it. More trips to the doctor, more tests, more prescriptions, more out-of-pocket expenses. It adds up.
So if you're grinding away for 5 extra years just to get a slightly bigger pension or Social Security check,
Yeah.
but that grind is actively damaging your health, you really have to weigh that cost, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely do. You could literally be earning more money just to spend it on healthcare because your job made you sick.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
it's kind of an unsustainable bargain, isn't it? Trading your health today for a few extra dollars tomorrow.
That sums up the dilemma perfectly. Okay, one last statistic we found, and this one really puts the whole work thing into perspective. It's about the sheer amount of time we actually spend working.
Yeah. The 90,000 hours number.
Exactly. We hear that phrase, right? We spend a third of our lives working.
It's a common saying.
But when you actually crunch the numbers, before you even add in overtime or commuting or maybe working multiple jobs, the estimate is just staggering. It's about 90,000 hours committed to work over a standard career.
90,000 hours.
It feels like such an abstract number, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
talking about distances in space or something. Can you help us make that feel real? Like give us an analogy.
Yeah, the sources had some really powerful ways to visualize it. Think about it like this. 90,000 hours. That's enough time to get fluent in maybe 9 different languages.
Or, if you're academically minded, enough time to complete about 25 PhDs.
25 PhDs.
Or, here's one for book lovers. It's roughly the time it would take to read every single book in the entire Library of Congress collection.
Twice.
Read the entire Library of Congress twice. Okay, that hits home. That is a massive, massive chunk of your one life. Irreplaceable time.
Absolutely irreplaceable.
And when you frame it like that, as time you could have spent becoming fluent in languages or reading basically all recorded knowledge, it makes you feel the weight of that work commitment. Now, look, for some people, work is genuinely rewarding. It gives them purpose.
Sure, for some it's great.
But for others, it really does feel like a shackle on those 90,000 hours. And thinking about reclaiming some of those hours, well, that's a powerful reason to consider an early exit, isn't it?
It's a huge motivator.
Yeah.
Especially when you layer it on top of that HAL statistic we talked about earlier.
Right, the healthy years potentially running out. Exactly. If you only have, statistically, maybe a few good active years left after the average retirement age, and you've got this bank of potentially 90,000 hours you could reclaim, the argument for optimizing your time over just optimizing your money gets really, really strong.
Okay, let's try and tie all this together then. This deep dive, it's really looked at the factors that drive actual retirement timing, which often seem to push against pure financial logic.
Yeah, the data seems pretty clear on a few key things. One, the average American does retire early, around 62. Two, our window of genuinely good health, that HAL number, statistically quite limited, maybe only to around 64. And three, those external risks, like layoffs, and the internal costs, like burnout and stress, they're very real threats if you're planning to just stick it out until FRA at 67.
So these statistics, they're really powerful things you need to factor in beyond just looking at your savings balance.
Definitely. They need to be part of the equation.
And this is crucial, right? We have to remember these are averages, statistics, data points.
Absolutely critical point. Your own experience could be completely different.
Yeah, some people genuinely love their jobs. They find purpose there, community, fulfillment. They might never want to leave.
And for those people, working might actually be part of their health and well-being plan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it remains a deeply personal decision. There's no single right answer.
No magic number.
No magic number. Ultimately, the right time to retire is whenever you feel both financially and emotionally ready to make the most of the quality of life you have ahead of you.
That's the core takeaway, I think. But maybe here's one last thought we can leave everyone with. Something to chew on.
Okay.
If you started using health, not just lifespan, as your main deadline, if you really internalize that average of, say, 63.9 healthy years, how might that change how you define being financially ready?
Interesting question.
And maybe more immediately, what would you prioritize doing differently this week?
That's a powerful thought to end on.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the real factors behind early retirement decisions. We really hope it gave you maybe a few aha moments, or at least some new perspective for your own planning.
Yeah, hope it was useful.
And hey, if you enjoyed this and love getting smart fast, please do like and subscribe.
It really helps us out. And don't forget those affiliate links in the description. Plus, let us know what you want us to dive into next in the comments.
We always appreciate the suggestions. Stay tuned for our next deep dive where we're going to be exploring the future of digital currency.